All right, we good? Bro, I'm gonna try this one more time. This video 3 times. I kid you not. I don't know what's going on with my Mac, but anyway, it's your boy K Trace, man. I'm back with some bangers, man. We had a crazy day. Smacked 100%, I think like 4 times. Super simple, right? All we did was play inside the algorithm today. Not much to really stress about for real. But anyway, I'm gonna go over, what we did today, how much we made, and yeah, go over, obviously what everybody wants to know, what's the possible game plan, what we do next. So first off, obviously, monthly close was yesterday. I told you guys it'd be some crazy volatility, and it was literally V-shaped recovery into crazy all-time highs. So we closed the month at all-time highs, had a gap up, of course, after that candle. Duh. So anyway, we had a crazy gap up, and I'm mad because I told y'all I had the 720s for Friday, and I bought them like days ago. And I sold them on the way up. But like I always say, take profit, yada yada yada. And it sucks sometimes, it definitely does. But like I said, you just want to develop good habits, because when the volatility dies down and we get $2 to $3 moves, you're not gonna get those 200% bank, 500,000%. It's just not gonna happen. So you want to not condition your mind and think that every time you be in a trade you got to make 100%, right? Even though we do smack 100%. A good majority, what I'm saying, not to brag, but anyway, so let's go over what happened today. First off, remember what I always say, turn your extended hours on, right? So you can get some levels, right? Because we're all-time high. We're opening all-time high. How do you have levels, right? You have to wait till the market identifies it. So use your pre-market hours to kind of give you some levels. So of course we already had a pre-market level, or yesterday's close yet level of 718. So we already kind of peeped this, we kind of bounce, and then overnight, remember, we started to, get a little pop into the day. So I just use these levels, like I said, yesterday's high, and then, we're rejecting after hours. We have literally, you scroll up, there's nothing there. So you got to make do with what you got. So this is what we used. We had bang, 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 right, going into the day. So I wake up pretty late, right, because obviously I can't play nothing if I don't got no levels, right? Which you shouldn't be trying to trade anyway if you haven't got no levels, right? So anyway, we blast off that open, right? So, of course, we're in a bull market. So what do we look for in bull markets? Breakout, and where do we get in? On a retest, right? That's how we play bull market. Simple as that, support resistance. So anyway, all I did was draw this little box, right? Because I had to zoom in because I'm like, okay, we don't have much levels. So I had to zoom in, drew this little box. That's the wick from pre-market high, and then where we kind of consolidated, broke out, and by the time I woke up, we were right back here. So this is all I saw at that point. I'm like, or like this, I'm like, oh, easy setup. It's only one of two things gonna happen, right? Either we're going to break down, right, retest, continuation, come down, fill that gap, or this level, right, in between here and here, is gonna be my long entries. So what did I do? I just waited. I waited for a test, right? Mind you, I already identified the algorithm right there. So I'm like, okay, cool, let me just draw this out, and then if it lines up, right, it lines up. Because like I said, this is the first time these levels have been tested, right? I don't know for sure what big support, what big resistance, right? I'm only going off what we got going on for today. So what was gonna be my target, right, where we sold off from, right into the highs. So first trade of the day, breakout, retest, super simple, man. I'm talking about easy bags, 80% easy. Sold, remember, I always say sell into the strength. Sell, even when you're short, sell into the strength. Whatever you're doing, sell into the strength. And it's okay, like I said, sometimes you miss the move, it is what it is. Like, I sold into the strength, of course, going to all-time highs. I sold at my level of 717.75, which was my level that I already called out at the beginning of the day. So I'm kind of upset about that. But like I said, it is what it is, man. We always get another entry. And I told them yesterday, I said, hey, I missed the pump, but get another entry. And this entry literally did not have a minute of drawback. Vertical, Lil Uzi vert. I'm talking about Lil Uzi straight up. So anyway, today was pretty simple. Like I said, caught this. Once I saw the breakdown, retest, right, of the channel, I'm going to target the same level, which is also, like I said, this is support. So I'm going to short it into support, right? Boom, short into support. I'm out. Now, buy some calls again if we start bouncing, right? Boom, go up again, buy some more puts. But this time I bought 1DTs because remember, even though, it seems simple inside of this, small time frame channel, I'm still looking at the higher time frames, right? I'm still looking to see, okay, what are we doing here? And what did we end up doing? We made a high. Wrong tool. We made a high, we made a lower high, right? Lower high close, a lower low, and a lower low. So in this case, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna really be looking for longs until we can knock out one of these, breakout, retest, right? And this is where I had to zoom in on today because we don't have no other levels, right? If it's not going down until the levels I have here, or even from yesterday, what am I supposed to do, right? So you got to play it as you can. Light size, of course. We're in price discovery mode. That's why you call it price discovery. So like I said, bought calls, boom, smacked them, and then this time I went back in, but with puts because we had the high, lower, low, lower high. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, cool. It's Friday. They always kind of just give us this weird price action on Friday. So I'm like, if they want to keep it in here, it can be beautiful. So like I said, it already had worked 1, 2, 3 times. So I'm all right. Like I said, just keep doing it again. So wash, rinse, repeat. And each time, like I said, I'm going, buying time on the puts just because, want to catch a, double bottom here, right? It could have been bang, 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 right? And I would have stopped. It would have been fine. But that's not what happened, right? So we ended up getting the new smack right at the lower day, which is also where we rejected at on Thursday, yesterday, right? So in after hours, again, that's why I said you have your after hours levels up. Most people would think, oh, after hours on me. Yes, it does. Clearly it does. Bounce directly off of it again, right? So there's multiple levers of confluence. So I bought calls again. Those end up smacking crazy. What those hit for? I know some of the guys got over 100% on those last ones. Yeah. And this is what I screenshot. When you screenshot, you gotta sell. You don't want to be screenshotted and then it go down. So I always sell and screenshot. But so I shorted at the end of the day. And like I said, even if we didn't have none of this, right? Even if we only had, let's say we got rid of this. This wasn't there, right? We only got these levels. Look at it, right? What do you have? You have breakout, right? The initial breakout first, right? We have our zone here. We identified the zone. Did we continue? So was this breakout retest validated? No, it was not. So what do we look for? Lower highs and short entries. So we got the high, lower high. So now, once I took puts again, I told them, wait for the bounce. Do not try to short it here because we need to form a higher low first. We need to, remember, if we're trying to go short, we need to test up. We need to see green candles first before we go short. Vice versa. If we're trying to go long, I needed to see this red candle first so I can confirm, hey, we like this level, or hey, we don't like this level at all, right? So kept it simple. I literally told them in chat, keep it simple, zoom out, calm down, relax, right? Relax. Plus the market was nice enough to give us something as simple as this, right? Which honestly, like I said, we'll go over high time or what we can do next week later. But yeah, so we had the breakdown, right? And all I wanted to see was a failure, and then we got it. We got the failure, so that means this was no longer support, and now it was using it as resistance. So all we waited for was another breakdown, retest. I got the zeros, right? I got my zeros. I waited for the retest. I actually did grab calls again, I'm not gonna lie. We did grab calls, I'm not gonna lie. And then of course we got puts again for the official breakdown, retest into the day, right? So it was one of those days, like I said, you had to kind of be patient, turn on your extended hours, because if you look, I mean, this is just some shit I threw on, but you still need to have some visual confluence. Okay, what happened, what didn't happen, what I'm saying, this and this, if this then that, right? So I'm watching right now. Let's talk about what we possibly can do from here. We had the monthly close at all-time highs, which was crazy, gapped up, of course. The daily candle was a little odd because, I mean, some people can call it a shooting star, but if this is all this in here is support, if we use this as gap support, then it will try to dip its toe, maybe, and if it does fill the gap, and still push back up to clear this wick out. So you can't really be too overconfident in either side, especially not shorts in a bull market, right? Like I'd be more confident in longs, right, going into a bull market, but definitely want to see, and this is what I literally just told the chat too. I'm definitely going to be looking for some sort of retest of this area going into Monday. So wherever we go, whether we gap up over it, right, I'm looking for us to fail it if we want to get that retest back to 718, fill that gap, or if we do gap down, below it, I do expect us at some point to form a hard lower high, right? So definitely gonna be watching this. Actually, let me keep this here, to be honest with you. We're actually gonna use this. We're gonna use this, right? Because if this is a break, remember, we gotta break down, retest. If this is just a bounce, then maybe it'll, boom, come down, hit the bottom, and then if we lose it, break down, retest, right? And we'll go over those levels in a second, but yeah, I'm just front running myself, just saying if this, then that. So yeah, let's turn off all the extendeds, or no, turn off the extended. There we go. So yeah, from a hourly standpoint, we like I said, we're all time high. So we only have what we have below, right? That's it. That's all we got. And most of these, like I said, are pre-market levels that I've had to put there because there's nothing there, So We have the gap to close obviously below, that's going to be our main watch for any kind of downside. But with that gap possibly being filled, you don't want to just immediately short, right? Just in case they bottom it and then they come up here, right, to form some sort of higher low here, and then maybe from there, or not, right? Maybe the bull trend continues, no pullback, right? You just keep going. So you're gonna have to make sure you're looking at the higher time frames to confirm, because they can get a little tricky, right? Even this right here, I'm not gonna lie, I bought into some. I caught this 70% on 0DTs, so I used a little bit of profit to roll back in, and then I just, sometimes you get too confident, you be like, oh, I got this. So I didn't wait long enough, candle closed, whatever. I got stopped out, so by the time I came back, I stopped out anyway. But I waited, and then I caught this entry right here. So, it just comes with patience, and if you're, like I said, if you're on the wrong side of the trade, identify it, recognize it, be like, all right, don't panic, zoom out, right? Because sometimes these candles can get a little, tricky, especially when they're very volatile on the intraday. So, I advise always zooming out, right? Always zooming out, right? Give yourself at least some confidence, give you some 30s, right? And then that way it'll afford you, enough mental peace to buy time, and just be like, hey, I'm cool, let me breathe, all right, relax, woosah. But anyway, you zoom out again. Remember, we are over this megaphone, right? Over this megaphone channel. So we're over that. This is what I don't like, right? The retest, whenever it happens like a pre-market or like a wick or something, man, obviously I'll take it if that's all we got, but I just don't really like the fact that it was like two really quick wicks, right? Like, right? Like, I don't know. But I mean, if they wanted to be tricky and be like, okay, that's it, that's all you get, then hey, that's all we get, And like I said, I'm not fighting the trend, obviously, so you shouldn't be fighting the trend either. Don't do that. But yeah, so if we do come back down, obviously we move it to the 4 hour. We 4 hour close under 718.50. Cannot reclaim 1750, right? Even if we get some wicks, boom, if we get one of these candles with upper wick or any kind, just be careful of that 718 30-ish level. So anything below that, obviously we have more support at 713, old resistance. So this is what I want to see on a daily test. It's back down here to 711, 710 and 712. I want to see something like this test, because if we can, let's say this is a giant inverse head and shoulders, right? We should initially bounce here first when we come back, because it'll be our first real back test. So we do come back down here. I'm going to be looking to, not short it into that. I'm going to wait for, maybe a bounce first. And then if we can get back underneath, all this old resistance at 710, 711, really 710 and 712, give yourself a wide zone, right? Because anything can happen inside of that whole zone, kind of like this, right? And you get these weird, it's a double bottom, like it is over the support, but it's just, it's a lot. And I understand how it can get messed up in your head, right? Because I'm gonna lie, that weird looking wick, that got me. I don't know, because I couldn't tell like what was going on. But like I said, I always zoom out, wait for candles to close to confirm, right? So even though we had this right here, that 4 hour could not close, 4 hour could not close, 4 hour could not close. So I was like, all right, cool. If we can get back above this, right, then we officially have some sort of a flat top breakout, and we'll just go from there. In which we ended up getting it, right? So didn't catch the whole move, which I'm still upset about, but it is what it is, man. So yeah, if we do get back under here, because if this is just a breakout retest, like I said, anything back over 721, 22, obviously new all-time highs again, breakout, retest, new all-time highs again, breakout, you know what I'm saying? So if that's the way we're gonna keep going, we're gonna go vertical again. Don't be the one fighting it, bro. Don't be like that guy on Twitter, bro. Turned 300,000 and lost it because he was just too bearish. He could not accept the fact that the market was not bearish, right? And I was telling y'all literally since the day I came back on YouTube. Go back and check my very first video. I told you guys I'm bullish. I don't really care what the news got to say. I don't care about the RNS. I'm looking at these charts, looking at the everything. Honestly, just looking at every pattern, every chart, everything is on the charts telling you we're bullish, right? And that's why we call it multiple 1,000% gains. So we played the charts, not what everybody was telling us, right? What do we see here? Go back and look. Inverse, head and shoulder. Breakout, retest. Went long, gapped up here. I sold, waited for the retest, went long again, right? Just kept buying and selling. And of course, I obviously didn't catch the entire move up. I sold once we got back up here because I was like, okay, I don't want them to retest in here. But we just didn't get it. And that's fine, right? So, I played what I saw, and that's that, right? And that's all you can do is play what you see. So, yes, it feels like so high up. Like, how can this go any higher? We've just seen it go from 630 to 725. Like, it can go higher. So yeah, just over the weekend, man, make sure you're not filling your brain up with just bearish content. Don't make sure you're filling your brain up with bullish content. Just fill your brain up with chart content, right? What are the charts talking about, right? Identify some levels, draw some levels, go back test, look, see, if this, then that, right? So, and this major, the only reason I drew this right here is I'm watching this liquidity, right? If they do, like I said, want to trap everybody, because mind you, the what's it called? Fear and greed. Look, hold on, let's check that real quick. Fear and greed index. Mind you, when it was super bearish, that's when we were buying calls. Now we in greed. Obviously, it can go up higher. It can go. Obviously, it can, of course. But I'm just saying, you don't want to just be blindly. Well, we're at 725. I'm gonna buy 750. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. You want to wait for pullbacks, wait for confirmation before you start going long, right? Same way we go short. Instead of just going short as soon as it's going down, wait for it to retest first. Then off the retest, if it breaks, cool. Now you can start some shorts. You crack it, retest that, cool. Now you can aim for that bottom. So that's what we will do, right? If, like I said, I would prefer to come back up here and test this. I would feel better about it. Then, okay, if we come back down and test this, we can either gap close, right? And then that be it, that be the retest. Or if we do want to go lower, snag some of this liquidity, come back here, retest in between here and here, right? Because there's so much stuff just all in there, right? All that, really all in here in general. So all this in here, just liquidity, right? Liquidity. All these orders stacked up in here, all these sales, all these buy, everything, just all stacked tightly in here. So if we do snag that, we can go higher off of it, right? We can come back, snag it, grab it real quick, trigger everybody, think we're gonna go down, right? And then go back up. Or, like I said, we actually can get that final pullback. But you will see it when it comes, right? You don't have to anticipate that far ahead in the future. I'm not worried about what's gonna happen in 10 days, right? I'm worried about what's happening today and then what that possibly could lead up for tomorrow, right? So keep it simple. Yeah, hit me up on Discord on anything at OKBet97. Yeah, keep it pretty simple. I got to put my parlays in for this game. Your boy been on a heater. I've been on a green streak, man. You can't stop the kid at this point. But yeah, man, just if you're feeling discouraged and stuff, I be feeling discouraged sometimes too, like not catching as much moves as I can. But you gotta be grateful. You gotta be grateful for the moves that you catch, right? Now I was telling somebody in the chat, like, bro, it's so easy to catch a 20%, 30%. We gotta just condition our brains to stop getting so used to all these hundreds, And like I said, of course, if the market's gonna give them, we're gonna take them 100%, of course. But you don't want to get too, just stuck in that, like, every play gotta be 100, because it just that one day where you're like, all right, 100%, I'm gonna go long right here, 100 contracts. Watch that be the day or the time that right when you're about to hit target, Trump says something, right? Or you wake up, gap down, So yeah, just remember. Banks giving you what, 4% a year, 5% a year. If you can make 30% of your money, return in minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Even in 1 minute, you got some candles, right? If you catch the bottom, right, you catch right here. By the time 15 minutes, you'll grab you some water, come back, you already up, So be grateful for the moves, because once the volatility dies down, and it will, right? It will. Market operates in cycles. Remember, we're not always high volatility, but whenever the market does go back down, and we have these small ranges, right? We're getting these small $2-3 days. You still got to remember, like, hey, I'm not gonna get 100% every day, right? I'm not gonna get 1,000% every day. So yeah, just take your profit, man. I've seen a lot of people recently just keep doing green and red, and that's like, bro, that's the worst. That's the worst. But that's probably worse than losing the trade, because it's like at one point I could just take it. So whenever you feel like screenshotting it, take your money first, and then leave a runner and you can screenshot that, right? But yeah, just remember to keep taking your money, keep, managing, hedging, turn those overnight hours on so you can see what the market's doing overnight as well, because we can use those same hours. See, all this in here, consolidated, we held, right? Held, pushed, got a little resistance up here, got that one candle, boom, right? So now that we finally broke back below this is what I'm saying I do at some point, whether we gap over it, and retest it and go up, or we gap over it, fail, get back below, right? And we'll see what I need. Or either way goes, we'll play it. So, yeah, I'm gonna just cut it here. I did go a little long today, a little 20 minutes, only because I made the video like 3 times and it kept just, I don't know what's going on. I think I ran out of storage on my Mac. So, yeah, it's parlay time. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on so y'all can see when I go live. And drop these vids, man, drop these bangers. And I probably will go live Sunday night, just so we can do, like, a little live chart and catch a little vibe, you know what I'm saying? Or unless the Rockets go in Game 7, then y'all will not hear from me again. So yeah, I'll see y'all, man, and have fun. Keep making money, and be patient.